If Express Entry confuses you, or you might not even know what that is, then let me break it down to you. Basically, this is a system tool that Canada Immigration uses to select qualified candidates to relocate to Canada permanently. And to do this, they have three main pathways that is managed under this Express Entry. Federal skilled worker, which is for those who have studied, who have foreign work experience abroad. And they have the Canadian experience, which is for those who have gained Canadian work experience in Canada. And they have the federal skilled trade, which is for those who have some kind of experience in qualified trades like plumber, mechanics, cooks. Now, before you can be selected, what you have to do is create an expression of interest, which is on the government website. You create an expression of interest, and while you're doing that, there is a selection factor that IRCC would be looking at. They look at your age, they look at your language proficiency, they look at your qualifications, so your degree, whether you have a master's as opposed to a PhD, as opposed to a bachelor's. Those are the things. The higher your education, the more points you have. If you're between the ages of 20 to 30, you have the chance of maximizing the points on that particular factor age. So the moment you cross over 30, you start to lose points. So the older you are, the less points you'll be given under the age. I did mention your language proficiency. You need to have good, excellent language abilities to be able to get enough points under Express Entry. And depending on the category that you have been selected under, that would determine what language band you need to meet. For those that are in Canada who have Canadian work experience, the language band is CLB 5. So as opposed to those who have foreign work experience, the language band requirement is CLB level 7. The other thing you want to look at is your work experience. The more work experience or years of work experience that you have, the more points you have. For those under the federal skilled worker category, you need to have at least minimum of 1 year experience within the last 10 years. For those who have Canadian work experience, you need to have minimum of 1 year work experience in the last 3 years to be able to qualify. There's also something that is important to note is now Express Entry, there is a category where we call category in demand. So if you work in certain occupations, you also get a higher chance of being selected under this Express Entry. And this can really cut across different streams. So you can cut across whether you are federal skilled under the federal skilled trades or foreign work experience or Canadian experience. I might have to do a specific video just explaining more of this streams like the Canadian experience, talk about that in one video, federal skilled worker in another video, just so that you guys can better understand it. But overall, like I said, some of the selection factors, I didn't mention all of it, but some of it is the age, your work experience, your language ability, your education, the qualifications. Those are the main things that IRCC will look at. I should add as bonus points is if you do have a sibling or you have French proficiency, that can also increase your CRS score, which is the score that Express Entry that IRCC would look at to determine whether or not you should be invited.